in hand, we'll build a land from the coast to the savannas, the rainforest tall. One Guyana will rise above it all. From the mighty Essequibo to the Rupununi Plains, diverse cultures intertwined like rivers after rains. Oh, the colors of our people, a tapestry so bright. One Guyana, different faces, a harmonious sight. One Guyana, united we stand, hand in hand, we'll build our land from the coast to the savannas, the rainforest all. One Guyana will rise above it all. This one Guyana, united we stand, hand in hand, we'll build a land from the coast to the savannas, the rainforest tall. One Guyana will rise above it all. This one Guyana, united we stand, hand in hand, we'll build a land from the coast to the savannas, the rainforest tall. One Guyana will rise above it all.
The Ministry of Education will be officially launching its TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. And of course, this very magnificent historic activity will be at the Convention Center, and this is in Leliendal on the east coast of Demerara. And so why a TVET Exposition and Fair? Here is where we want to bring every single Guyanese, every single student across the length and breadth of the various regions to participate in this exposition and fair. And so we will have students from various secondary schools across Guyana participating here tomorrow, showcasing their talents, their ingenious qualities in their designing and their products. We'll have persons from the post-secondary institutions. For example, the GTI, the LTI, the ETI, the NATI, they will all be here tomorrow, where they will be showcasing skills training and what are some of the programs and opportunities that are available at these various institutions across Guyana. And very importantly, we'll be having persons from the private sector. You can explore and you can have real hands-on experience as we realize various skills across the various institutions here tomorrow. So see you at the Convention Center as we launch officially the TVET Exposition and Fair 2025.
Thank you very much. As we now like to call the program to order. Sorry to have you sitting, but let's all stand as we recite the universal prayer. Let's all be reverent at this moment. Thank you. Where the mind is without fear, and the head held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-winding thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country free. Thank you. National Pledge. The pledge. Thank you. You may be seated. Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manichan, Deputy Chief Education Officer Technical, Dr. Ritesh Tularam, Assistant Chief Education Officer Technical, Ms. Marcia Pade Andrews, Director School Boards, Ms. Valaiko Jaikisun, Director for the Council for TVET, Mr. Patrick Onwazuruki, Senior Education Officers, special invitees. I thank you as we begin our program today. Our theme is Empowering Youths, Elevating Skills, TVET, a Catalyst for Inclusion. Our first item on our program this morning will be done by our Assistant Chief Education Officer as she brings us the welcome and the overview of this TVET Expo. Let's put our hands together and welcome Ms. Marcia Pade Andrews.
Good morning, everyone. Master of Ceremony, I wish to stand on your protocol that has been observed. However, I wish to acknowledge the Honorable Minister of Education within our midst. And you know what? Before we get tired, I wish you to give her a round of applause. Because everything you see happening here today is because of her. It is with immense pride and enthusiasm that I welcome you all to the 2025 National Technical and Vocation Education and Training Exposition. One that is not just a showcase, but a bold statement of purpose, progress, and potential. We gather today under the theme Empowering Youths, Elevating Skills, TVET, a catalyst for inclusion. These are not just words. They are a vision that recognizes that the future doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins now. It begins with each young person we empower, each skill we refine, and each barrier we break. Today, we also gather to celebrate the strides of the Ministry of Education that the Ministry of Education has made over the last 5 years. If you are familiar with education, you know that every 5 years is a cycle. And so we are at the end of a cycle, 2020 to 2025. Over the last 5 years, we have been empowering our citizens with practical skills through technical education to envision the future of a skilled and innovative Guyana. The Ministry of Education, through the TVET unit, has decided to implement a rigorous, systematic approach in ensuring that every student, regardless of where they are, get the opportunity to pursue study in at least one TVET area. Through the government of Guyana and the policies, we have made significant financial investment of infrastructure through construction and rehabilitation of PICs and PIDs across education districts. We have been able to provide state-of-the-art tools and equipment. And I must mention Bedford-Wachting on the east coast of Demerara, Hope Town in Region 5, Mabaruma in Region 1, St. Ignatius in Region 9, New Bartica Secondary in Region number 7. And if you look carefully, there's a widespread of the distribution of resources across Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, this exposition is more than an event. It is a movement to unlock untapped brilliance of our young people to elevate technical and vocational education training as a legitimate, powerful, transformative, and developmental engine to ensure no one, regardless of their background, their gender, or geographical location, is left behind. We stand at a pivotal point where innovation must meet inclusion, where skill meet opportunity, where empowerment must meet equity. And today, right here, we are going to witness that convergence. Our youth are not waiting for a change. They are the driving force behind the change. And TVET provides that opportunity for them to engage in that process. The exposition showcases the talent and innovation of our students and institutions, reflecting the diverse opportunity that TVET offers. From sustainable energy solution to advancement in construction and information technology, the exhibits here are a testament to creativity and dedication of our young minds. As we walk through the exhibit today, we will witness the awesome work that is done in the field of TVET. We will also recognize that TVET is everything. The way we, in our daily life, the way we sleep, the way we eat, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we move from one place to another. And I can go on and on. You will witness digital creativity, the green technologies from smart agriculture to entrepreneurship. 40 entities are participating in this exposition from a wide cross-section of the labor market. The oil industries, government ministries, public and private sectors, organization and commission, secondary schools, our own digital school in the Ministry of Education, as well as the TVET unit, hospitality industry, small business bureau, business sectors, and building and technology, and a whole host of specialization which falls under the TVET umbrella. Over the next 2 days, you will see the demonstration of skills that are taught within the classroom of secondary schools. And I know this may come as a surprise to some people. Okay? Skills ranging from block making, welding, painting, dyeing, carpentry, electrical installation, fabric decoration, making of jams and jellies, and other confectionery. It is only recently that I saw a little post on Facebook where someone was saying that we should reorganize the education system to offer these. Comrade, this has been done and it started since 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, these skills are not new to the classroom. Over the last 5 years, we have intentionally introduced these skills to the CVQ where it was non-existent and reintroduced them where there were lapses. Our schools have been making their fair share of contribution to the food security in Guyana and its economic growth. Every year, and I know this may come as a surprise as well, and I'm happy that you're all here to hear this. Every year, our school produces over 5,000 chicken. You know the equivalent to 5,000 chicken is approximately 25,000 pounds of chicken on the market. Give them a round of applause. There is a regular supply of greens and vegetables from the school garden plot, and many schools have gone into agro-processing, which you will witness today as you stroll through the booths. Industrial Technology Department and PICs have been producing furnishing for schools in the form of stools, benches, work tables, and first aid box. Give them a round of applause. It is evident that TVET is on the move. I extend heartfelt thanks to our educators, trainers, and industry partners whose commitment has been instrumental in driving the success of our TVET program. Your collaboration ensures that our training remains relevant and responsive to the needs of the workforce. To our students, you are the future builders of Guyana. Embrace this opportunity presented today, engage with the exhibits, and envision the impact you can make in this chosen field. Once again, I wish to bid you a warm welcome. Let us continue to work together to build Guyana, where technical and vocational education and training is a cornerstone of national development. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paddy Andrews, our ACO Technical. Indeed, youths are the driving force for change, and indeed, this is a movement which has been re-engineered in 2020. Thank you very much. Dance is the hidden language of the soul, and that is said by Ms. Martha Graham. Let us prepare our hearts, our eyes, as we enjoy a dance that will be done by Richard Ishmael Secondary. Let's welcome them.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however
Thank you very much, Travon of Richard Ishmael Secondary. Please allow me a few seconds as we recognize a number of organizations that are present here today that is making an impact so far. Greater Guyana Initiative, Board of Industrial Training, SciPen, Allied Arts, MACORP, ProCare Therapy, GPL, Guyana Marriott, Guyana Digital School, ER Burroughs School of Arts, NSER GSA, TVET, Art Williams, Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Forestry Commission, NARI, just a few. So as the program goes along, we'll announce a few more persons or organizations that is making this possible. Let's continue with our program today. This gentleman that I'm about to introduce is no stranger to us. You have seen his face on many programs, YouTube and Facebook. He has made an impact and is continuing to do so in the technical education field. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as we welcome Dr. Ritesh Tularam, Deputy Chief Education Officer Technical.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark Roberts. And so Mr. Roberts is the Senior Education Officer at the Ministry of Education. Let me recognize the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manikchand. And of course, I want to recognize in our midst as well, senior officers of the Ministry of Education. We have our DCOs, our ACO Technical. We have the chairman of the GTI GITC, Mr. Pompey. We have representative from MACORP, and of course, very importantly, our students who are here with us here this morning. Good morning to one and all. All right, so first of all, I just want to join with the ACO Technical in saying heartiest welcome to all of us to this very momentous, this very historic event that is well planned by the Ministry of Education, the TVET unit of the Ministry of Education. And before I go in to provide some information to all of us, I want to recognize a team of persons that worked diligently, that worked committedly, that worked religiously in ensuring that we can transform this space here at the Convention Center, and more so, to send that important message that TVET is indeed on the move. And so I want to start by recognizing the Assistant Chief Education Officer Technical, Ms. Marcia Pade. Can we put our hands and give her a round of applause? I want to recognize the coordinating team that was led by Dr. Crandon, and of course, Mr. Roberts, Ms. Yonette Crandon, Marlon Davis, Raul Andrews, Kewell, Donald, and all the other officers of the Ministry of Education TVET unit. I want to recognize their efforts in planning this activity. And so we are all here today to experience, to involve, to engage in what the Ministry of Education, Government of Guyana, is doing for us as it relates to technical education. And so, my dear friends, indeed, it is with great pride and enthusiasm that I welcome you all to this year's TVET Fair and Exposition, right here in this beautiful country of ours, Guyana. This year, the MOE's TVET unit is celebrating this historic exposition and fair under the theme, Empowering Youths, Elevating Skills, TVET as a Catalyst for Inclusion. And I want for us to understand that these words, they were carefully put together, given where we are going as a ministry, given where we are going as a country. Today we stand at the crossroads of transformation as Guyana experiences rapid growth in various sectors, from oil and gas to agriculture, construction, technology, and renewable energy. The importance of a skilled and adaptable workforce cannot be overstated. Technical and vocational education and training is no longer a secondary pathway, or it's no longer an alternative pathway, but rather it is a strategic pillar in shaping a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Guyana. And so, my dear friends, it is very evident through the massive investments from the Ministry of Education, the Government of Guyana. And I want for us to understand some of the things that the Ministry of Education would have invested as it relates to repositioning technical education in this beautiful country. The ACO Technical would have highlighted some of the things that we have done within the last 5 years. And so first of all, we have never had a TVET policy in this country that speaks to technical education. And so I want for us to recognize the importance of a TVET policy. A policy means a document that would guide Guyana, will guide the Ministry of Education, will guide all the key ministries as it relates to the realization of technical education. And so I encourage all of us to visit the ministry's webpage, visit the ministry's website, and have access to that document so you can understand your roles and your responsibilities as it relates to the transformation that the education sector is making regarding technical education. I want for us to understand as well that given the investment coming from the Ministry of Education, we must at this point in time respectfully debunk the position that we are seeing across the various social media platforms. And of course, my dear colleague mentioned something, it came to my eyes as well. And so I want for us to understand that all the things that would have happened. One, a TVET policy. Two, every single region in this beautiful country of ours, we have a TVET center that is established to provide skills training for every single student within that space, within that sphere. And so if you go to Northwest, I know the Minister of Education will expound more on this, but if you go to Northwest, which is region number 1, students, residents, parents, single mothers, girls, they can all have access to quality, relevance, and equity in the delivery of technical education. And so we have state-of-the-art tools and equipment. Our teachers are trained to deliver the curriculum. Thirdly, for those of us who can recall, since 2005, we had some form of reviewing that was done to the TVET curriculum. As a teacher, taught at Bijiville Secondary School, we have never engaged in a reviewing of that curriculum. And so as we speak now, presently, the Ministry of Education is finalizing a document that was comprehensively put together that speaks directly to what are the changes happening in the various sectors and how it aligns itself with what the transformation is speaking to us. So we have a curriculum that speaks to grade 7 and grade 9 in our secondary schools that will help our students to understand their pathway as they gravitate in acquiring a skill and exiting secondary school. Hence, they can make that contribution to their community, to their society, and by extension, they can make that contribution nationally. We have, and again, the Minister will speak on this, I will not go in details of some of those things, but again, we have in region number 6, to ensure we promote quality and relevance in technical education, we have a state-of-the-art HTTI institution, that's the Hospitality and Tourism Institute, that is coming in region number 6 in Port Morant. We have the GTTC, the Guyana Technical Training College, and these are institutions that are center of excellence that will offer specialized programs for students wanting to acquire a skill in the various regions. And of course, the Ministry of Education is working in that regard in ensuring that there is alignment with all the programs so that our students can exit with a certificate. The Ministry of Education would have moved in the direction, recognizing the importance of what we're talking about, Caribbean Vocational Qualification, or the CVQ. The Ministry of Education would have moved in the direction of strategizing a document that speaks specifically to the matriculation of students completing a CVQ program. We all know that one could have only matriculated once they have math, English, along with 3 other subjects. The Ministry of Education, of course, with the leadership of the Minister of Education, we have crafted a document that enables and gives every single child that exit the school system with a CVQ successfully, that is deemed or considered matriculation. It means you can take that and you can get into a post-secondary institution, meaning the Government Technical Institute, the Linden Technical Institute, the Essequibo Technical Institute, the Maikoni Training Center, etc., and you can have what we call a continuation of your skills training, ultimately leading with a CVQ level 3 at these institutions. And of course, there are many more other things that the Ministry of Education would have done. But I want to bring this to you. Again, first time in the history of this country, with the leadership of the Minister of Education, we are now moving to digitize technical and vocational education and training. What does that mean? It means that persons from Berbice, persons from Region 1, persons from Deep Riverine in Region number 8 don't have to spend the time to come to Georgetown, to go to Essequibo to acquire a skill. This is a platform that will enable every single individual to get online and complete a CVQ program. And of course, systems are in place to ensure that they can network with the various institutions where they will complete their skills or practical components, ultimately lead them to certification. The Ministry of Education, again, we have moved to establishing what we call a management information system for technical education, meaning that we are reducing all the paperworks. So we know that you make an application, we have to take it into the institution, somebody will review the application, then somebody will respond to you, and then of course ultimately you will get an indication if you're in a program or not. With this management information system, you can stay at the comfort of your home, at the comfort of your own region, and you can submit an application to any one of the institutions across this country, and you can be a part of a TVET program across Guyana. And so I want for us to understand that this exposition is a celebration of what our young people can achieve when they are given the tools, training, and support to succeed. It is also a showcase of the talents, innovations, and determination that live within our technical institutes and CVQ centers, schools, and PICs across the country. So from Linden to Lethem, and from Georgetown to the hinterland. Here today, we will witness more than just technical skills on display. We will witness dreams taking shape, ideas turning into prototypes, and passion translating into purpose. To our students and trainees, you are the builders of this new Guyana. The skills you gain today will fuel the progress of tomorrow. Let this event be a reminder that your hands, your minds, and your creativity are essential to nations' development. To our instructors, institutions, exhibitors, and industry partners, thank you for your commitment to quality training, to innovation, and to bridging the gap between education and employment. Your work is critical to ensure that no Guyanese is left behind in our journey to national development. As we open this fair, let us reaffirm our collective mission to promote excellence in technical education, to strengthen partnerships between education and industry, and to create opportunities that transform lives. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education, I welcome all to this TVET Exposition and Fair. May it be a time of learning, connection, and inspiration for all. At the Ministry of Education, we say, TVET is on the move. TVET can save us, and we can only do that hands-on, minds-on, and hearts-on. Ensure you create the experience here today so that you can go back to your beautiful places and you can translate that in empowering your colleagues within your schools and beyond. And so I thank you very much. God bless us all, and do have an enjoyable, productive 2 days.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tularam, for highlighting the achievements of TVET, the Ministry of Education, and particularly speaking on the TVET policy and the development of the various curriculums. Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought, and the thought has found words. Robert Frost. Let's welcome Kiana Osborne from the Annandale Secondary School as she brings us a poem.
Thank you. Good day, TVET. Come on, some enthusiasm. My name is Kiana Osborne, and I'm from the Annandale Secondary School, and I will be reciting a poem called Guyana's TVET Symphony, written by the most outgoing, intelligent Miss Lorianne Jacobs. In Guyana's land where rivers gently wind, TVET education takes its stand, a beacon bright with goals United Nations design. in classrooms echoing where dreams are twined. Sustainable development takes the hand in Guyana's land where rivers are gently wind. CARICOM whispers a collective mind. CXC echoes through the learning strand, a beacon bright with goals United Nations design. Each child a promise, a future shine. Through CVQ, their skills expand in Guyana's land where rivers gently wind. Schools rise to standards, a mission outline. Facilities full like castles in the sun. A beacon bright with goals United Nations design. Industrial threads in knowledge bind. Teachers qualified, a nurturing band. In Guyana's land where rivers gently wind. For in TVET's embrace, a nation finds development path, a purpose grand, a beacon bright with goals United Nations design. In Guyana's land where rivers gently wind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Kiana Osborne. She's full of energy. I love the energy. All right, great. Please allow me a few seconds more as we highlight a few more of our participants in this sphere. We have Guide Drones, National Ozone, Guyana Rice Development Board, Pesticides and Toxins, MISU unit, and the PR unit of the Ministry of Education. Thank you, guys. Also, Mr. Nielsen, Norris, and team for decorating this lovely place. Ms. Stevens of the Ministry of Education, your hard work and dedication is being recognized at this moment. Also, our TVET institutions. Thank you all for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, as we now prepare our hearts for a rendition by the Bishop's High School, we ought to recognize the instruments that they're playing, which is the steel pan, which has been with us here. We like to say that Guyana is part of the Caribbean. It is. It's part of CARICOM. And this, or these instruments, has indeed thrilled our hearts over the years. Let's welcome the Bishop's High School as they give us a rendition.
After me. Come after me. Get after me.
thank you very much, the Bishop's High School, for your rendition. We have come to a moment of this program that we've all been waiting for. And it is the keynote address. But before we do so, let's recognize our wonderful minister in our presence. At this moment, we'll introduce to you a special person that pushes opportunity, for young girls all over this country, that speaks to TVET. We've all waited a number of years to hear our minister speak about TVET, and she has joined the force. Thank you very much, Minister of Education. This means a lot for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we welcome our Minister of Education as she delivers our keynote.
Good morning. Please sit. So I was saying, when Kiana was mounting the stage, she looks very small for a secondary school student until she started speaking, and then we realized she was nothing but small. And I love that about girls, and our girls in particular. Speak up always. Let people hear your views. Speak back to people who want to tell you that your views are not worthy. And we enjoyed your poem as well as the steel pan rendition from the Bishop's High School, as well as the dance from the Richard Ishmael Secondary. Thank you all, students. Shows TVET is alive and well. The chairperson just said they're glad the minister joined, that would be me, joined the TVET train. So here's the thing. I think in the last 5 years, I have donned and put on more hard helmets and vests and hard boots. And I think I can say that with comfort and confidence, and I cannot be successfully challenged than any other minister of education or otherwise in the history of this country. And the reason I can say that is because we have been consciously and consistently building out schools across this country. And we take safety seriously. And I have safety watchdogs in people like Ritesh and Marcia and Mr. Chinadu, who would promptly send me a note if I went into a place without the right gear to bump me. And the children know what bump means. You can't be seen like this. So even if I wanted to stop in at a location that I didn't plan to go, I used to have problems because I didn't have gear. So we now walk with those gears in the car. And I give that story to say that education has seen its largest investment in money. But sometimes we talk about money, we don't talk about impact, which has resulted in the largest infrastructural development across every single region in this country, in every area of education, and particularly in technical vocational education. So much so that when I came into office in 2019, we had 9 schools offering 4 TVET subjects. I want you to hear me. 9 secondary schools offering 4 TVET subjects. Today, we have 74 schools not for TVET subjects. Let me reword that. When I came into office in 2019, we had 9 schools offering 4 CVQ subjects. CVQ is Caribbean Vocational Qualification, where you get a certificate for it. Today, because of conscious investment, planning, getting on the ground, putting the facilities in place, we have 74 schools, secondary schools, across Guyana offering 24 CVQ subjects. That, my friends, is what love looks like. That is what investment in education looks like. That is what making sure our children are prepared for the Guyana that is rapidly being built before our eyes look like. When I came into office, we did not have any TVET, organized TVET training center in regions 1, 7, 5, 9. Today, because of conscious investments, because of strategic partnerships, we have TVET, state-of-the-art TVET facilities in 9 of the 10 regions in Guyana today. I just recently commissioned the Mabaruma TVET PIC, the Hopetown TVET PIC, the Better for Wacting TVET PIC, the Fellowship in Region 3 TVET PIC. PIC means Practical Instruction Center. Sometime next week, I will travel to St. Ignatius and commission the St. Ignatius Practical Instruction Center. And sometime within the next 3 weeks, we will commission the Bartica Practical Instruction Center. So now we have 9 out of 10 regions with state-of-the-art TVET institutions offering to our children and adults, young adults particularly, education in this field. Ritesh spoke to you about a TVET policy, and that policy is all-encompassing. What do we want to see from nursery to the exit of high school and thereafter post-secondary for children? We want to see that every child has the opportunity to be exposed to practical instruction in every single school. And so very shortly, Marcia spoke of many of our schools, and you'll see it as you walk through here, who are already producing and adding value to their products, who are already selling pepper sauce and jams and thyme and other products that are self-sustaining their agri department. By the end of next term, every single secondary school will have a shade house able to produce their own agricultural products that can be grown under a shade house, because there is a collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Agriculture. And I'll tell you a secret. Of our 117 high schools, only 54 are left to be done. And we are working on those as we speak, because we did the survey across the country. Why do we believe technical vocational education, competency-based education is important? The world has had a relook at education, has had a relook at what it is that is needed from our young people exiting High School has had a relook at what is needed for the workforce. Guyana is uniquely placed in that positioning of the world because we have a new sector, oil and gas, the petroleum sector. But it's not new from last year. It was new since we declared December something Oil and Gas or Petroleum Day. You remember that? Done by President Granger. Who remembers that? And which day was it? Homework for you. So the previous government knew we were heading into a place where this would be an area that we needed to develop and develop rapidly. We want our children to be competent in what they are going to pursue. We want them to competitively engage in the various new arising sectors that are coming out of the oil and gas industry. We want them to earn. We want them to lead. We want you to be able to take up your rightful place. And that is why the emphasis is on TVET from first form. Of course, the older, and older doesn't always mean age. Older sometimes means stuck in the past. People who resist those changes, sometimes from within the ministry, can't see that vision. And sometimes people outside can't see, articulate, or carry out that vision. Recently, I heard a presidential hopeful speaking with an accent, so it made it more authoritative, I suppose, if you drop an accent in there on us and you say it with confidence and authority, that he was going to have a national TVET policy. Big man, it done. That he was going to create TVET institutions across this country. Big bro, it done. That he was going to make sure each and every child was exposed to this because we have a new oil sector. Big man, the new oil sector been around since your party been in office and you did nothing to advance that sector. And so I'm saying that deliberately for a reason. The big man, by the way, is my dear friend Nigel Hughes. We're colleagues in law. Nigel's party was in office for 5 years when they knew we had already found oil and they didn't build a single new TVET institution. They didn't build a single start and finish, single new high school. They didn't put a single new policy in place that would see TVET being advanced through each and every one of our children. None. And he will tell you, well, I wasn't in government. I wasn't there at the time. But he was the man who tried to perpetuate that government on us when he told us that 33 was not the majority of 35. Of 65, sorry. In effect telling us that 33 is not bigger than 32. So he was comfortable leaving all of you with a government that didn't build a single secondary school, with a government that didn't build a single TVET center, although we left the money there for them, with a government that didn't make a single input into TVET, although you had the same Marcia Paddies, the same talent we have now that we're using to make your life better, that are serving to bring you more They didn't utilize that talent. But they will come to you now with an accent and with authority on their own self-promoting show without the ability for interrogation of these wild things they say. And they will make promises. And it is important that each person has the right to choose in this country, and I will defend that every single day of my life, as will the party I support. But it is important that we do not reverse the gains we have made by putting people or by believing in people who have shown us that they have nothing to offer when they hold the position of leadership. Nothing to offer. For me, you heard both speakers, all three adult speakers before me, say very kind things about how this was led by the Minister of Education. This was led by the PPPC government, who has placed me in this position to make sure you do better. To make sure you do better. To make sure you have more. To make sure you have what it takes to compete in this Guyana. To make sure we are creating opportunities for you that allow you to take up positions here that foreigners don't have to come and snatch from you. But that calls for leadership. That calls for direction. It calls for vision. It calls for hard work. It calls for resisting the people who will resist and get in the way of this kind of progress, and we have them. It calls for steady, steadfast leadership, which we have shown to you over the last 5 years. And so later in this year, adults 18 and over, once registered, which you still have a chance to do over the next 48 hours, will get a chance to choose what their life will look like in the next 5 years. Will get a chance to choose what their children's opportunities will be in the next 5 years. Will get a chance to choose what classrooms will look like. What new trajectories will grow? What opportunities will be offered? You'll get that chance later this year. And I will say to you, you have enough before you to be able to make informed choices that will keep each and every home on a trajectory of growth in this country. You have enough before you to compare, because to get to a place of information where your choices are informed, I expect you to compare. Compare Priya and Nicolette. Compare Irfan and David Granger, in case you forget who he is. Compare the parties before you, because your very life depends on it. Your children's life depend on it. And I say to you, with commitment from this podium on the record, that TVET will grow under us to places you cannot imagine, where every single child exiting high school will be CVQ qualified, will be exposed to various TVET subjects, and will have trajectories that have hitherto been unavailable to them in the field of technical vocational education. I promise you that growth, and you will see that growth with us. So this morning, at our TVET Expo. I hope you visit each and every booth. I myself will be visiting, and I hope when I reach the plant booth, where our children grew plants and flowers, that nobody is going to stop me or supervise my purchases. Because as you know, that's my area of love. I thank you. God bless you. And may God always bless this beautiful land of ours, Guyana.
Thank you, our Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Priya Manachan. Indeed, your words have reminded us of who we are and where we are and where we're going. Thank you so much for your leadership in TVET. And as a Minister of Education, you have done a wonderful job so far. And we are grateful, and I'm grateful to be serving under you too. Indeed, one of the main things that we are going to see is that every child, I'd like to reiterate this point, every child will leave secondary school with a CVQ certificate, and that is one of the main reasons we have this exposition and fair. Ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this part of our program to an end, let us all stand as the Bishop's High School render us the last verse or stanza of the national anthem. Let's all stand.
Voices of the people soften low. Those who found up spaces, laughing with each other, making mighty, mighty. And in the dawn, the red sun rising in the sky. Hiding the wings of the ghost, it's the LA flag. Which is the fastest company when day is done. Got up the booty, children dancing in the sun.
We're live. We're live.
The warm rain fade away for very long. All the people work together for the rain. Under the corner like the sound of blue again. Long time playing couple, while I think in the day, we were flying on the same tree. Down to where the moon thinking through the sea, forgetting what tomorrow's not like. When you cross the road, you have a story line.
I was looking for you when I was
When you
talking.
travel, it's
Oh, I
nothing
didn't see
found.
it.
Outside the end by all the swingers lie and read. This was the way the gents to keep the time
Wanted to. Well, let them turn off the music, or else whatever they're gonna ask me.
Long gone in the heroes and the flipping fire. That's the code that I thought of the racing. Now that the devil left the cold man's sky. The weapon was good.
The Ministry of Education will be officially launching its TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. And of course, this very magnificent historic activity will be at the Convention Center, and this is in Leliendal on the east coast of Demerara. And so why a TVET Exposition and Fair? Here is where we want to bring every single Guyanese, every single student across the length and breadth of the various regions to participate in this exposition and fair. And so we will have students from various secondary schools across Guyana participating here tomorrow, showcasing their talents, their ingenious qualities in their designing and their products. We'll have persons from the post-secondary institutions. For example, the GTI, the LTI, the ETI, the NATI, they will all be here tomorrow, where they will be showcasing skills training and what are some of the programs and opportunities that are available at these various institutions across Guyana. And very importantly, we'll be having persons from the private sector. You can explore and you can have real hands-on experience as we realize various skills across the various institutions here tomorrow. So see you at the Convention Center as we launch officially the TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. the Ministry of Education will be officially launching its TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. And of course, this very magnificent historic activity will be at the Convention Center, and this is in Liliendaal on the east coast of Demerara. And so why a TVET Exposition and Fair? Here is where we want to bring every single Guyanese, every single student across the length and breadth of the various regions to participate in this exposition and fair. And so we will have students from various secondary schools across Guyana participating here tomorrow, showcasing their talents, their ingenious qualities in their designing and their products. We'll have persons from the post-secondary institutions. For example, the GTI, the LTI, the ETI, the NATI, they will all be here tomorrow, where they will be showcasing skills training and what are some of the programs and opportunities that are available at these various institutions across Guyana. And very importantly, we'll be having persons from the private sector. You can explore and you can have real hands-on experience as we realize various skills across the various institutions here tomorrow. So see you at the Convention Center as we launch officially the TVET Exposition and Fair 2025 the Ministry of Education will be officially launching its TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. And of course, this very magnificent historic activity will be at the Convention Center, and this is in Liliendaal on the east coast of Demerara. And so why a TVET Exposition and Fair? Here is where we want to bring every single Guyanese, every single student across the length and breadth of the various regions to participate in this exposition and fair. And so we will have students from various secondary schools across Guyana participating here tomorrow, showcasing their talents, their ingenious qualities in their designing and their products. We'll have persons from the post-secondary institutions. For example, the GTI, the LTI, the ETI, the NATI, they will all be here tomorrow, where they will be showcasing skills training and what are some of the programs and opportunities that are available at these various institutions across Guyana. And very importantly, we'll be having persons from the private sector. You can explore and you can have real hands-on experience as we realize various skills across the various institutions here tomorrow. So see you at the Convention Center as we launch officially the TVET Exposition and Fair 2025.
Something incredible, something amazing happening right here at the Artichoke Conference Center. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to be going booth by booth to bring you all that's happening today, to showcase what's happening across the various booths, and of course, to share with you everything TVET related. My name is Danelli Singh. Stick around and let's find out what's happening at this year's annual TVET Fair and Exposition. the TVET Fair and Exposition here happening at the Artisan Conference Center. I'm Danelli and I'm speaking here with Rochelle from the Bass Alumni and Cast Iron Foundry. Today here at the TVET Fair and Exposition. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi, good morning,
So,
Denali.
like I said, tell me all about your booth. What are you promoting? What
All
do
right.
we need to know?
So this is BASIF, short for Brass Aluminum Cast Iron Foundry. BASIF is the only licensed foundry in Guyana. We normally make fire hydrants, we make manhole covers, saddles, drain gratings. Those are items that persons, commonly know. Everybody should know those items because you would have been seeing them day to day.
Right, so when you
Right?
say foundry, that's what you're referring to, or are you referring to something else?
We're a foundry, we're a manufacturing company. We normally use aluminum, cast iron, bronze, aluminum, and we smelt it. So we're a foundry, right? We smelt it and we produce these items that you could see here today.
Right, right. So what are you promoting? Like how would students benefit from visiting your booth should they
Alright.
come here?
If, remember, we're actually catering for person, remember, TVET stand for
Yeah.
training, for,
Vocational.
vocational educational
Right.
training, right? So, meaning when we normally take in batches of training from
Right.
TI, GITC, right? On the summer break, like we are breaking just now.
Yeah.
Right? And we normally persons normally come there to do machining, welding, fabrication.
Right.
Persons go in the pattern shop. So we help also inside Guyana relating to employment. So that's one of the
Right.
reasons we're here today, showcasing persons, stuff that we manufacture and also playing a part.
And some other opportunities that persons in the various technical institutes. Now, what about those that are leaving school and getting ready to go on their work study? Do you also offer places at?
Yeah, we do. As I mentioned just now, we do take in batches from TI, GITC, and several other schools who might send application showing interest that they want their student to come there like for 2 months or 6 weeks
Right.
period. Yes,
Right.
we do.
All right, great. Thanks, Rochelle, for sharing with us. And you heard it right here at the Artisan Conference Center at the TVET Fair and Exposition. Thank you so much. I was referring to Randolph from NSERT's IT unit, who's going to share with us a little bit about their booth and what they are promoting here today. So, Sir Randolph, how are you?
I'm doing fine today. Thank you for doing this interview.
No problem. So tell me, what is it that you guys are promoting here today?
So today we are basically showcasing how mathematics, science, and information technology can lend support to TVET skills. And we are showcasing from nursery level straight up to secondary how activities, curriculum-based materials can help students make an informed decision of a skill area they might want to pursue in the future.
Now, what intrigues me here is you mentioned nursery, because when people hear about STEAM or STEM or TVET, they don't think about nursery students. So tell me, how would you engage nursery students in this?
So today we have manipulatives like blocks and different like models of furniture. We also have gardening apparatus there, where we can spark their interest and develop their motor skills and develop concept building from those procedures.
Right, so, and this is coming straight out of NSERT. So this means that this is also a part of the curriculum.
Correct.
And this is also something that is currently being taught in schools.
Correct.
All right, great. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. Now, quickly, why should persons come out and visit your booth in particular?
Because we are showcasing robotics today. We're showcasing ICT, we're showcasing building, and also critical thinking. We have different activities and games. Our booth is very much engaging today, so people of all ages can visit us and benefit from different areas and learn something. So we have mathematics as well that we're emphasizing on, which all lends to TVET.
All right, so thank you so much. And
You're
you've heard it right here again at the TVET Fair and Exposition. Join me, we'll continue along our journey. You gotta... with the incredible theme from the Ministry of Agriculture's Pesticides and Toxic Chemical Control Board. Woo, that was a mouthful, and I got it in the first go. So we're speaking with Inspector Ambrose and his beautiful, beautiful colleagues, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what they are offering, tell us about their agency and what they're offering here today at the 2025 Annual TVET Fair and Exposition. Inspector Ambrose, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Pesticide and Toxic Chemical Control Board booth. And basically, our agency is responsible for the sound management of chemical in a life cycle approach, and that is from manufacturing, import, distribution, sales, use, and also storage.
Right.
So we're here to educate persons about the safe use of pesticides and also toxic chemicals in order to reduce and mitigate the risk to human health and also the environment. So today we have some brochure that we'll be sharing to participants. Also, we have some display of toxic chemicals and also pesticides. So basically, toxic chemicals means any disinfectant or any other substances known to be poisonous, corrosive, irritating, sensitized, or harmful to man. So a simple household detergent we will consider as toxic chemical.
Oh,
and
wow.
Also, we're here today to educate persons that you don't mix bright roll and bleach together, because it's a very deadly combination.
It's a common thing that we do, though.
Yes,
It's a part of our culture. We can say it's a part of our culture, you know?
We're trying to correct certain aspects of our culture.
Right.
Because once you mix these two, you release something called chlorine gas, which is very deadly to the human being.
Is that the feeling when you mix everything and you start feeling
Correct.
lightheaded in the bathroom? You got to hold on? Right.
And also, we have here some common household pesticides that will be registered by us, whereby you have your fish spray, your raid, and what we consider your rat poison, which should be considered wax block. So, another thing to note is that caramel tablet is not a rat poison. So we want the general public to know that. It's basically a fumigant that is meant to use for fumigation during rice and lumber export.
So then it's unsafe for us to use this within our households?
Correct.
Oh.
But this one is a registered product for rat poison. So this is what we consider rat poison, not carbon tablet.
Right. I see you have shoe.
Shoe, yes. This is called insect repellent, which is also registered by us. We register most household products.
Right.
So all these products will have to pass through the Pesticide and Toxic Chemical Control Board before it's put on the market. So also, I will hand you over to just walk you through some of the PPE that we have here displayed today.
All right. We're learning so much here at this year's Expo. Okay, yes, so Inspector Basha, tell us all about PPE.
So PPE is basically personal protective equipment that we advise you to use when handling any type of chemical or pesticides, right? So it's to protect you, your health, and your family as well.
Right.
So first we have the hard hat, and you have different types of masks, the full face mask, the half mask, and the other chemical resistant mask. Depending on what chemical or pesticide you're using, you would use the appropriate mask. Also, we advise you to use chemical resistant nitrile gloves, not the latex ones, because some of the chemicals will burn through the latex gloves. So you use the chemical resistant ones.
They can sometimes even burn the actual latex itself. Is that possible?
Yes.
Right.
So nitrile gloves would be the ideal thing to use. Then we have the coveralls. This is to protect your entire body and your clothing. You have the disposable ones and the reusable ones. So that's basically it.
So I know that we have a lot of farmers out there that want to use pesticides and want to use all these different things. How do we ensure, or how do you guys now ensure that they do it safely? Is there any sort of monitoring that goes on? Or?
Yes, and we currently have training nationwide that we do on a weekly basis. So we're there to advise the farmers on what equipment they should use when using the various pesticides, and to also adhere to the labels. The labels will tell you what to use when you're using these chemicals and pesticides.
Awesome. So if persons have more information or they'd like more information, how do they reach out to you? How do they make contact?
So they can contact us. There's also our website. Our number is 220-8880. You can find us on Facebook and IG as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for
the lab aspect.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I'll now hand you over to my colleague.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Darshini Chuniram. I'm from the laboratory. I'm a chemist. So what we do there, because we're a regulatory body, we also monitor the fertilizers that are being imported into the country. So we do the testing to ensure that they meet certain standards. So if you're interested in bringing in fertilizer, you have to go through us in terms of ensuring that your fertilizer are up to standard.
So with that, because we know that there are certain fertilizers being sold in stores, would that mean now that they would have already passed through you and they're safe for,
we do
retail?
like confirmation checks, so verification of the active ingredient, which is a macronutrient. So NPK fertilizer like 15, 15, 15, right? Yes. So we ensure that it's actually the concentration that the manufacturer is saying on the label.
Right.
And if not, they will have to, go through the process relabeling and whatnot. But aside from testing fertilizer, we actually analyze formulated product, the pesticide. Everybody's familiar with Gramazone. We verify that that's the actual active ingredient and the concentration. Aside from that, we do water quality analysis and residue analysis. You can see from the banner in front there, we have our technical equipment like high performance circuit chromatography, we have GCMS.
Right.
So it's not just about inspectorates and licensing department. We come together in regulating and ensuring the safe use and the information that go out there too. Yes, so we're very applicable in terms of like not just bringing in, how you use it, when it's being used, and ensure you're doing it safely.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you guys so much. You've heard it right here at the 2025 Annual TVET Fair and Exposition. Development Board's booth here at the TVET Fair and Exposition, and I'm speaking with Varshini, who's going to tell me all about her booth and what they are promoting here today. So Varshini, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell me about your booth. I'm seeing bread, I'm seeing pastry, I'm seeing, well, I call it chicken foot, but it's called salsair. I'm seeing cereal, I'm seeing so many different things. What are you promoting here?
So we're actually promoting rice flour products. What you're seeing here, we have 25% rice flour in these products here. However, the cereal that we have here, this is 80% rice flour. But all the rest of stuff has 25% rice flour. There's so many more that you could do with rice flour also, but these are just some of the products that we usually use.
So I'm assuming that rice flour is flour made from rice.
Yes, it is.
Rice. And is this available in our local markets? And how can people, purchase this and use this? And tell me some of the benefits of it.
It is available in some supermarkets, but it's mostly used during the Ramadan season or the Muslim holiday season because they are more affiliated with it more than regular customers. So they would usually use it for their sweet meats. But what we're trying to do, we're trying to put it out there and show people that rice flour has potential. We could use rice flour to do so many things. And if you could see, we have rice wine here also. So you could have stuff to eat
and something to drink. Well, what are the health benefits, like compared to regular flour?
So in terms of the health benefits, it's gluten-free. And a lot of persons cannot use gluten. And it's also beneficial for persons with diabetic and stuff.
So it's a much healthier alternative.
Yes.
All right, it's great. And I'm happy that I'm seeing the cheese roll and the pint tart because that's a Guyanese delicacy right there, or pastries.
Yes.
And oftentimes people say, pastries have a lot of cholesterol, it has a lot of fats inside, and you gotta go easy on it. But with this new alternative, more persons can enjoy it.
Yes, they can.
All right. Thank you so much, Varshni, for talking with us. You heard it right here. And again, we're at the Artisan Conference Center. We're going to be here until 4 this afternoon, and we're also going to be here tomorrow morning from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So come out and be a part of something incredible. What, you may ask? It's the TVET Annual Fair and Exposition. Welcome back. We're so happy to be bringing to you live coverage of the Ministry of Education's TVET Unit annual TVET Fair and Exposition happening here up until 4 p.m. right at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. Right now, I'm speaking with Mr. Rahman from the Ministry of Agriculture's Hydrometeorological Service. Welcome.
Ozone unit.
And ozone unit, right?
Yes.
Specifically the ozone unit. So tell me a little bit about your unit and what it is that you guys do.
Okay. Guyana is a party to the Montreal Protocol for the protection of the ozone layer. And we have signed on to some amendments to that protocol that deals with phasing out of the substances that were identified that destroys the ozone layer.
What are some of those substances, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, some of those substances are chemicals that are used in some industries like cooling, freezing, ice making, air conditioning.
Right.
And in the agriculture sector, they were used as pesticide, methyl bromide. So in the former list of applications, those substances were called refrigerants, and they contain chlorine and fluorine ions as part of the chemical makeup of those refrigerants. When that is released into the atmosphere, it breaks down, and the chemical substance it kind of breaks up into its constituent, which is chlorine ions, and the other chemicals that make it. Those ions are very reactive. And when they get into the stratosphere, where the ozone layer exists, it destroys or makes it thin because it reacts with the ozone and breaks it down from a molecule, the O3, to O2, and the other oxygen atom goes and forms an oxide with the chlorine or fluorine. So you get an ozone layer thinning and a hole eventually.
And what happens if there's a hole in the ozone layer? That sounds scary right there.
This thing started to occur in the Arctic regions of the Earth. So because of the global circulation, the wind takes up the air from across the globe to the poles, the polar regions, and then they rise. Now, when that hole was discovered, an examination was made on its impacts on the ground. And scientists found a lot of animals and the ecosystem in those areas were changing. Ice was melting, animals were getting blind. Those ruminants and those cattle and other animals that have to graze outdoors and so, they were going blind, they were getting skin cancer. People began to get skin cancer. And there was mutation of genes in plants and animals also. So, hole in the ozone layer allowed UVB radiation from the sun to penetrate onto Earth.
That's a very bad radiation.
That's a bad radiation.
That's a bad radiation.
UVB is high energy radiation. And because of its high energy, it transforms the cells into other forms, like the cells become cancerous.
Right, because I was just going to ask, so the cells then now mutate and becomes cancer, so you have more persons.
More persons getting cancer, skin cancer especially. And so. Now, animals, they're hard to protect because you can't give them some gases.
Yeah.
In some countries, they did that.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
And animals like to go outdoors during the daytime and graze and so on.
Right.
The trees and the other ecosystems that cannot move, some of them bear the brunt of those damages because the trees can't run, they can't, so
they can't move.
Yeah, they got disease
and
so on. However, over the past 50 years or 40 something years, this protocol has been enforced since 1987. 87, 23, and 25 is 48 years. So we have reduced the use and consumption of these ozone-depleting substances and chemicals. And because 198 countries are party to this protocol, it's the most successful environment protocol in the world.
Oh, wow. And that's big news that Guyana is a part of that.
Guyana is a part of that. So with that effort, it has resulted in the ozone layer recovery because they reduce the chemicals that damage it and destroy it. Now, there is a caveat to our saving the ozone layer, which is the gases that were introduced that were friendly to the ozone layer are high global warming gases. High global warming gases that prompted the creation of an amendment to the Montreal Protocol called the Kigali Amendment. The Kigali Amendment now targets those chemicals that were safe to the ozone layer but high global warming potential. They are high potency greenhouse gases, in other words.
So what now is the alternative?
Okay,
Because if the thing that is meant to save us is now harming the ozone, so what's the alternative?
There are alternatives because scientists are always working.
Yeah.
They work 24/7. So they've discovered that natural substances like hydrocarbons, a few of them like propane, isobutane, have been used as effective coolants in refrigeration systems. In air conditioners, they have used a blend of refrigerants which is not harmful to the ozone layer and have a low global warming potential.
Right.
And this will help humanity to preserve life on Earth. Because when we save the ozone layer and we were going to become extinct due to sea level rise, melting of the ice caps and so. Now we're phasing out those substances and introducing ozone environment-friendly refrigerants. And we hope that the world will follow suit as they did in the Montreal Protocol to sign on. And Guyana is still to sign on to this new amendment, the Kigali Amendment. We're hoping to do that soon with the assistance of the policymakers and so.
Right.
We get their agreement, then we can control the importation of those substances that add to the global warming stock of greenhouse gases.
That's a lot of information to take in.
It's very technical indeed.
It's very technical. So I see how it correlates to TVET.
TVET, yeah, TVET has a branch of education where the skills training is emphasized.
Right.
And because refrigeration and air conditioning training is one of the skill areas, our partnership with the multilateral fund, which funded projects in Guyana, has enabled us to buy new equipment and also to give to the technical schools to deliver skills. We've also trained technicians. We also have developed curriculum, advanced curriculum, so that the technical institutes could take the new technology on board. So we work in close partnership with the technical institutes, or without them, Guyana will not be able to be as successful as it is.
Right.
And Guyana is really highly acclaimed for meeting its phase-out targets of CFCs. We're being challenged now to meet our HFC phase-down targets because we don't have legislation in place as yet. We're working on that.
We're working on that, and hopefully we get to see that pretty soon.
Well, they say better late than never, but I think it's better sooner than late.
Especially where our lives are concerned and the safety of the entire world. And that. All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Rahman, for chatting with us and telling us a little bit more about some of the work that you are doing here and even educating us about some of these harmful gases and so on.
I'm glad of that opportunity, and I hope that it is assimilated by our listeners.
Yes. All right, so you're welcome. You've heard it right here at the TVET Annual Fair and Exposition. My name is more persons from various booths today.
The Ministry of Education will be officially launching its TVET Exposition and Fair 2025. And of course, this very magnificent historic activity will be at the Convention Center, and this is in Liliendal on the east coast of Demerara. And so why a TVET Exposition and Fair? Here is where we want to bring every single Guyanese, every single student across the length and breadth of the various regions to participate in this exposition and fair. And so we will have students from various secondary schools across Guyana participating here tomorrow, showcasing their talents, their ingenious qualities in their designing and their products. We'll have persons from the post-secondary institutions. For example, the GTI, the LTI, the ETI, the NATI, they will all be here tomorrow, where they will be showcasing skills training and what are some of the programs and opportunities that are available at these various institutions across Guyana. And very importantly, we'll be having persons from the private sector. You can explore and you can have real hands-on experience as we realize various skills across the various institutions here tomorrow. So see you at the Convention Center as we launch officially the TVET Exposition and Fair 2025